Greetings this evening of your time as you create time to exist. How are you all? Oh, thank you. Allow me to begin this interaction by explaining that very often we find in viewing your society, in interacting with members of your society, that you do sometimes, in that sense, shall we say, put out to the universe mixed signals. You are, in that sense, creators of your own reality, as we and many others upon your planet have discussed many times. But understand that one of the things that allows you to be an effective creator is clarity. Clarity of your intention. Clarity of your vision. Therefore, very often, individuals will from time to time be nebulous in what it is they wish to do. Be vague in what it is they wish to do. Or in fact, contain contradictory definitions within them that in that sense send out mixed messages to the universe. You may entitle this interaction, if you wish, Expect the Best. One particular example of what we are speaking of was something that we did discuss, perhaps as far as you are concerned, many months ago with a particular individual. And this was the idea of being taught as you are growing up, being ingrained with, presented with, the idea of expecting the best, but preparing for the worst, just in case. This, in that sense, is a paradox, is an irony, is self-contradictory. For the preparation for the worst, as you say, is in and of itself a statement. And in that sense, if that preparation takes the form of action, takes the form of doing something to prepare, that actually puts out more blatantly the message of expecting the worst than expecting the best. For if you as a concept expect the worst, but your actions reflect expectations of the worst, when you are in that sense expecting the best conceptually, those actions, that preparation, in and of itself, midwifes in, perhaps again, colloquially speaking, the worst outcome. Therefore, we speak many times about your attitude shaping your reality. It is, in that sense, only truly a middle person toward doing so. For it is the actions that you assume that literally creates the reality, that brings it from mentalizing, from thought process, to reality. We have also discussed recently that while you are mentalizing, thinking, interpreting a situation, that before you proceed in action, particularly if your interpretation and attitude is negative, that you at least provide one other positive alternative before proceeding, so at least you have a choice. For whatever you act, whatever idea you act on as a foundation, the actions are what create the reality in this physical set of circumstances. So once again, you can therefore think anything you wish. You can think, I expect the best. But what you do determines it. So if I, in thinking, expect the best, but in action, prepare for the worst, that preparation, that defense sets up the attack. The preparation for the worst is the same as saying, I truly believe I will receive the worst outcome. And as a reinforcement for the fact that I believe this, I will set up a defense. I will set up protection just in case. Now understand that just in case clause is what allows more probability for the negative outcome. As we have again shared many times, all situations in your life are neutral and have no built-in meaning. And your assignment of the meaning in a given situation determines the effect you get out. This happens and works in that sense across the board. So in preparing for the worst, you are assigning the meaning that I expect the worst. Here is the blatant proof from my actions that I expect the worst. I am setting up protection just in case. Therefore, from now on, decide, if you wish, decide what it is that you wish to occur. Decide if you wish to, in that sense, be looking out for the best or the worst in any given situation. Be purposeful about it. And if your decision is to expect the best from what is available, from what is right there, then pay particular attention to your actions. And should you find yourself in the performance of those actions, setting up, preparing just in case, stop yourself. Ask yourself, what must I believe to be doing this? And you will find the overwhelming primary belief is that the worst is yet to come. But should you decide that you wish, again, the most positive outcome from any neutral situation, simply use the tool of your imagination to provide an alternative scenario. If you are, in that sense, performing actions, expecting and preparing for the worst, then those are the actions that an individual who believes in the worst outcome would perform. Therefore, you already have the model for the negative outcome. But you are infinite creators with infinite choice. Therefore, you can also use your imagination to project. All right, now that I see what preparing for the worst is a representation of, what the belief is behind that idea, now I will give myself that other alternative. I will look in that sense before I leap. All right? What then if I truly believe, or if a person, if you wish to remove it once from yourself, who truly believes in the positive outcome, what do I see that person doing in my imagination? And then allow that tool to provide your specific self-tailored answer. Then look at those actions. They will differ, I assure you, from the protective mode, the expecting and preparing for the worst mode. Then you will have two sets of actions. Then you have a choice. You will always find that your imagination can always, in any given situation, provide a set of actions that will be representational of your desired outcome and, in fact, of your desired self. For you already create with this mechanism, though very often due to societal ingraining, the imagination is geared toward the negative outcome. You use your imagination many times to prepare for the worst. Therefore, you already do this. Already. And it is not a matter of building up any strength or exercising or creating a new ability. No. It is taking that ability you already have and beginning to apply it according to preference, according to your integrity, according to your excitement, according to what it is that you desire, simply because you know if you are in your integrity, it can only be of service to yourself, can only be of service to others. So therefore, the only reason you need have for choosing a positive perspective is because you say so. And that is all. That is really all there is to it. You get to choose. If you automatically make a choice without quote-unquote thought or thinking, it is still a choice. Perhaps when you do not provide other options, it seems like the only choice. But what we are sharing is a very simple way to imbue, to utilize your imagination in any given situation. Simply, in that situation, whatever the situation is, be specific to the situation that is right in front of you. Hand it over to the preferential you in your imagination, the referential, preferential you, and watch what it does before you act. You can still act the negative way. Nothing is being lost or taken from you. But most often when you provide a positive alternative, that comes from the vibration of who you prefer to be. Just in giving yourself the benefit of that doubt, so to speak, you will give yourself a more desirable set of actions. For if two things are lying in front of you, one is an automatic reaction that will obviously yield a negative result, and the other is, in the same exact neutral situation, a set of actions that can only give you at least a different result, and because the approach is positive, a more positive result. It is then not difficult to choose. You are then not acting that, in that sense, on automatic pilot. Automatic pilot is simply when you feel something, acting without thought, without evaluation. In a sense, it has become automatic to do so. But understand that when you begin to give yourself the positive choices, the referential, preferential you will find that you only do so by effort at first. For you are replacing the habitual ritual of simply moving according to negative assignment with a new alternative. And you will find that perhaps at first, yes, you need to go through that set of steps, conjuring up the preferred you and handing it over, and watching what it does, and perhaps rejoicing at the ingenuity within you. But you will quickly find, if you act on what your imagination provides in this specific way, that you will, by getting that result, also begin to do that automatically. Therefore, no process is truly required. Simply a changing of perspective, a changing of your interpretation and attitude, and your willingness to evaluate before you act. And it is that simple. Eventually, your preferential you in your imagination will simply be coughing up automatically the actions at first. And perhaps you will then need to grope to even find the negative interpretation, attitude, and action. So it really only takes a slight shift in your perspective, but truly this is created by the mere willingness to do so, rather than to function on automatic. The mere willingness to say, there even might be an alternative here. I know if what I am about to do, if I do it, I will have a negative result. I know it. It happens all the time, you may say. Therefore, you can now give yourself the alternative. And you do not need, in that sense, to call me, open a book, call a friend. You can do this, and we are not discouraging sharing what you find. But what I am saying is that you contain within you everything you need to transform. And being that it is eternal and internal, you don't need anything outside of yourself. You will find that when you are willing to consult your referential, preferential you in your imagination, that it will take on a life of its own. And gradually, though sometimes quickly, you will simply find yourself automatically being that you, out of preference, out of joy, out of desire, because you say so. And perhaps are sick, in that sense, using your colloquial language, of settling for less than who you desire to be. You really can expect the best. And, so to speak, prepare for the best, much in the way that you used to prepare for the worst. Is this clear? Therefore, we always, in interacting with you, expect the best from you, and have never one single time been disappointed. We are not here to give you something you must have that you are depraved without. No. In fact, we are not even here to really say that you are doing anything wrong. No. You are who you are. You are the creators of your reality. We are who we are, the creators of our own reality. We desire and choose, by choice, choose to share our perspectives because they have worked for us. But make no bones about it. Your perspectives have worked just as well for you. We do, however, detect that you are now beginning to desire a positive outcome, a perfect positive outcome, as perhaps opposed to the perfect mixed outcome that you create. So therefore, what we share with you is not something that you are without. You contain what I am sharing. And we simply, in that sense, allow you to see that the seed already exists within you. All you need to do in that sense, if you wish, is add a little bit of water, a little bit of light, and it will grow automatically. But we are not planting anything within you. And anything you find as joyful, helpful, ecstatic, that comes from our stream of information, only does so and only translates and makes sense to you because you already contain it. Therefore, my purpose is simply to share, with no insistence involved. Therefore, whenever I am interacting with any individual from your society or the many societies that we interact with, I always expect you to be the best you are. The best you that you are now expressing. And have never again once in any way been let down. Though, in that sense, even if you did not believe in yourself, I would still believe in you anyway. So therefore, I never will be let down. You can feel the same way about yourself. Otherwise, you would not even be able to perceive that I feel that way about you. Therefore, I thank you for your willingness to begin to explore many avenues. Begin to knock down, in a sense, the maze of walls that you create within your consciousness. And begin to express yourself as one unbroken, continuous, whole consciousness. Which is what you are, from our perspective. In appreciation for your willingness to look beyond daily life in that sense. Beyond what your eye can see. While still remaining completely involved in it. Grounded in that sense. I ask you now, how may I be in sharing, in love, of service to you? And as well allow you all to be of service to us as well. Sharing.